Okay, but it's still at an angle. When you open that angle, that's when it changes your position as well as affects the horse's mouth. But I have a number of students who have very short upper arms. It's just their conformation. And they have to ride with a higher hand. Okay, now in that position, you sit better. And you're actually, it's a more independent hand. You can feel when the horse needs you to give, you know, or, and then again, you know, when we talk about lifting the bit, so if a horse comes high and hollow, we all want to push it down. But when we do, we change the position of the bit in the jaw. And so when a horse is going long, he comes high and hollow, we have to come higher in order to maintain the same position of the bit in the jaw. Okay? And it's actually in that position we can encourage the horse to go back down. But, you know, and I'll tell you where this whole idea of low hands came from. When Le Guerinier wrote, after a demi-ray, descendement, lower the hand. And the Germans translated that to ride with low hands. Okay? Instead of, after an upward action, lower the hand. It's in French, it has a different meaning. It's not just literally lower the hand, it means stop the action you just did, which is come back to your neutral. Like, you know. Okay? Right. So it's lowering it to a degree, but not, and don't ride always with low hands. There we have to make an action with our hands. And the more actions we do in the progressive training of the horse, bend, 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 we teach it, turn, whatever, you know, come up, good, go down. The smaller those aids get until they become invisible. But if we just sit with a still hand, then the horse is always against it.
Right. Okay.
And the other concept, which is just so popular in modern dressage language, is drive the horse to your hand. But nobody says, what's that hand doing when I drive my horse to it? Is it still? Does it stop? Is it giving? Is it high? Is it low? Well, it depends. But the idea of driving a horse to a blocking hand came from the German Prussian cavalry. And the first time it's ever written down in literature is Gustav Steinfeld. And it was when he was trying to write a manual for the teaching of young cavalry riders who didn't know how to sit on a horse. Okay? These were 16 to 20-year-old young men full of testosterone, wanted to go out and kill something, and they couldn't ride a horse to save their life. So this was a way to teach them to at least be able to stay on. Hang on to the reins and kick for all you're worth. Okay? So but it is not, that's the beginning of where the two schools of thought really started separating. The separation of the aids is not just one aid at a time, but it's legs without hands, hands without legs. I'm sure Andre said that expression.